The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan, on Sunday arrived Lagos from Abuja to continue a 3-day visit to Nigeria as part of their promotion of the Invictus Games, the sporting event Harry founded for wounded military veterans. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu welcomed them at the Lagos House in Marina.
Christopher Gwabe Musa, they were received by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and other top government officials at the Lagos House, Marina. They held their discussions behind a closed door.
That's our training, blue line, very, very special as well. In our institution, I think that we should do this yeah. Wow. It's nicer than there is a very flat door.
That is Meghan and Harry with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu coming out of a closed-door meeting. They arrived at about 1:10 p.m. this afternoon to the Lagos House. And so the governor is going to brief us the outcome of their closed-door meeting. Please stay tuned.
I want a corny.
Abuja, we'll be flying in anytime.
Gentlemen of the press, thank you very much. We've just had a visit, a courtesy visit from Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and Meghan, the Princess of Sussex, here at the State House in Marina. They are on a private visit to our country, and their stopover includes Lagos. They've had one or two activity earlier today, and we're honored to have received them at the State House here in Marina. And we're excited with all of the ideas and the things that they're planning to do, especially with the office of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa, and his lovely wife that is also here. We just want to assure you, gentlemen of the press, that for Prince Harry, this is it's been a very interesting and very informative trip to the country. He's seen a lot. He's still soaking in a whole lot. And part of the things that we're hoping that he will also take away is to see the diversity, and the extent, of how big our country is, and how we continue to ensure that we live, together in peace and harmony, and how what role Lagos plays in that whole conversation. They've been to Kano, they've been to Abuja, here now in Lagos. I'm sure they have their own experience of what Nigeria looks like. And we've extended additional invitation to them that they can always come back, when they want to. Also knowing fully well that Meghan has, a decent percentage of Nigerian in her, all right? And we've said, we've sort of like agreed that maybe that percentage should stay in Yoruba land. I don't know, right? But it's okay. And you can see she's been well attired, and her yellow actually blends so very, very, very well today. But we're indeed happy for what they are doing, especially for our military men, on the conversations around mental issues, mental health issues, mental illness, and how they can galvanize their various NGOs at ensuring that people that require those supports, both in military and in private, can seek those support. And the conversation around mental health issues, is also something that we all live around. The denial, the stigmatization is out of our, it's out of one of the things that we've talked about. And more importantly, the Invictus Games that Prince Harry is known for. At what point can we have it in Nigeria, so that the true Nigerian, competitiveness can also be reflective, in that game. And I think, on behalf of all of us in Lagos, we're excited, we're happy that they found out time to be with us this afternoon.
The Invictus Games was founded by Prince Harry in 2014 as an international multi-sport event for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women, both serving and veterans, on what to achieve post-injury. The Prince's visit might be brief, but the memory on soldiers wounded in battle will remain indelible on their minds for years to come. Adedoja, Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
Right, and so that's well, the trip and the visit of Harry and Meghan has ended, and I'm sure they're living with great memories. And one of the major takeaways for me is the essence of the Invictus Games, which Harry founded about 10 years ago or thereabout. And, the essence, the importance of that is also reflected deeply in Nigeria that, is fighting a war, an intense war against terrorists and all of that. And there is the effect that, this war continues to live on soldiers positively and otherwise. And he said something rather instructive during the series of visits, embarked upon by the royal couple. And that was that it's not just one member of the family who goes on to the war front. It's actually a family affair. Everyone is involved. And when they come back, that's the soldiers come back now with come back maimed, as against when they leave. There is the need to make sure that their morale isn't low. And he talked about seeing some of them in his visit to them, seeing some of them with low morals, and how that this game is poised to help cheer their spirits and give them a reason to live again.
Absolutely, and it's very exciting, to have someone who, although renounces royal duties, but then decide to move on with in his royal manner, being able to help people, especially those who the fallen heroes and those who survived, the wars, the war against terrorism and all of that. So it's good because that definitely is a morale booster. And I love the fact that he was invited to the country, by one of our own very top personality, in government, to see how Nigeria can host the Invictus Game. Because he himself had actually served in the military, after the war in Afghanistan, being a co-pilot, there in supplying stuffs like that. So I find it very interesting, very lovely, very loving, because you saw the soldiers who welcomed him, who were happy, to see, the Duke and the Duke himself, really. And then the fact that we also have the Duchess too, who found a way of saying,
I'm one of you.
My archetype actually showed that I'm from Nigeria. So it's a good one that we had them visit Nigeria, significant, and is their first international tour since renouncing or stepping down back from the royal roles in 2020, and then began in May 10. So the trip may be especially poignant for Meghan, just like we said, who revealed on our Archetype podcast in 2022. 2 years ago. Yeah, that she learned that she's 43% Nigerian.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a whooping lot.
So it's very good. So the Duke himself served in Afghanistan, just like I said, in that Apache helicopter co-pilot gunner. So I'll be happy if Nigeria eventually holds the Invictus Game. If Nigeria is given that right to host it, because they themselves must have been treated to royalty, when they arrived in Nigeria, because, going to Kaduna, reigniting that emotion or that feeling or that experience they had when the King Charles and the wife, Princess Diana, when they visited Nigeria, back in the day, welcoming them and all of that. So they see Nigeria as a home. Prince himself, the Duke himself, also sees Nigeria, not just Nigeria, Africa, as a second, home. So it's a good one. It's a good one. I'm excited that we're able to host them very, very well.
Absolutely.
And even change their clothing.
Change their clothing, and I loved the fact that was also something that stood out. Them blending with the diverse cultures of Nigeria, identifying with the beauties of the Nigerian culture. Of course, that's another event where they were hosted to dinner and an event. There were fundraising events. There were also visits to schools. There were Prince Harry also participated in a volleyball game, and also witnessed a basketball game here in Lagos. And we also understand that the military authorities, at whose instance an invitation the royal couple came visiting, will have also announced plans to unveil an Invictus Center, which was also very warmly welcomed by Prince Harry. Of course, this is also a good sign how that there is need for a sense of belonging, really, because one can just imagine, at least from the movies, I haven't had the opportunity of engaging rather closely with heroes, military returnees, so to speak, who have gone to the war front. But, you know, from what I see in movies, in films, in documentaries, I can imagine the harrowing experience, know, the psychological effects that, you know, having to battle it out at the war front, coming back with varying degrees of injury, some of them maimed for life, how they have to cope, how their family also has to cope. And it's good that the Nigerian government, Nigerian nation too, has also keyed into, that need to give them a sense of belonging. It's one thing for those whose loved ones, have passed on at the war front, but, that's bad enough. But then coming back now, having to relieve again, this time around under different circumstances, it's really important that the Nigerian government gives these people that true sense of belonging and empathy to keep them. And that's indeed, the way to go.
That's right.